Hey, what's going on, my friends? How is everyone doing? We are hanging out, still in the home weather center. We got Sinatra cranking. We just poured ourselves a nice warm cup of coffee. Come on in and say hello. Nina, how you doing? How are you? Picking up Nick this evening at the airport, so that he can help move me out. Good morning, Angela. How are you? She says it's a sad Sinatra Sunday. Hey, this will not be the last Sinatra Sunday. I will say that, Angela. Not a goodbye, more of a see you later. We'll be doing these in the future, so don't worry about that. Janine, good morning from Ponte Vedra Beach. I'm sure it is a beautiful, beautiful morning. It is a beautiful morning. Down in Ponte Vedra, I'm sure the sun is shining, the surf is up, the wind is starting to get going a little bit. We have, of course, all our eyes are on Tropical Storm Isaias, but we continue to break down the forecast so we could still enjoy our weekend. And one of the biggest changes in our local forecast is the timing, really. Impacts haven't changed all that much. It's just the storm now is moving much slower, 8 miles an hour, moving into the northwest at about 8 miles an hour. So because it's slowing down, we've just pushed the timing of our impacts later. So really, it's Monday morning now, overnight Monday into Monday morning into the day on Monday. So our Sunday really kind of shapes up as a result and isn't that bad of a finish to the weekend. One thing that we noticed overnight on the big old satellite and radar picture is that the system is trying to flare up, right? You can see it very vividly on the satellite picture here. See all these, like, watch the thunderstorms, the convections. Look at it just blow up, right? It's going, it's going, it's going. It's trying to strengthen. But at this point in the morning, it's like running out of room. The window for its time to re-strengthen is closing. So we don't really expect this to get to Category 1 hurricane anymore. We don't expect this to re-strengthen back into a hurricane. One of the reasons is, sure, it's developing up on that right side of the storm. It's bubbling up, but the wind shear is kind of sloshing it over, and it's not getting wrapped up into the center to develop into a hurricane. So at least for the day today, don't expect it that much to develop into a hurricane. But even at that point, I mean, we're looking at a difference of 10 miles an hour. So logistically speaking, there you go. Okay, the difference there is just in the title. Now, our local forecast, either way, hasn't really changed all that much. Here's a good look at it on the satellite and radar picture. You can see a brief little center here. Down really just approaching the southeastern coast of Florida. The hurricane warnings that were issued for parts of the east coast of Florida are no longer hurricane warnings. They're just tropical storm warnings. And I won't say that they're just tropical storm warnings, but that maybe put your mind at ease a little bit. Some of the rain bands working into the Space Coast, some of the squalls are going to continue to work onshore as those tropical storm conditions are going to kind of really fill into the southeastern coast of Florida. So we're feeling a little bit still on the optimistic side for our local forecast. Really just going to primarily be a coastal event for us by the time we get to Monday morning and then into the day on Monday. I mean, satellite radar picture isn't showing much right now. The wind is starting to pick up out of the east and the southeast for those in St. Johns and Flagler counties. Just a nice little onshore breeze going, but the surf continues to fill in. The swell continues to fill in, and we're just going to see conditions start to pick up once we get into Monday. But really, for the rest of the day, today, Sunday, it's really not all that bad of a day. There will be plenty of sun for the first half of the day. I think we'll notice clouds start to increase as the afternoon picks up. By the afternoon, there will be a couple downpours that work onshore, so look for some coastal showers and then coastal downpours, and then maybe some thunderstorms working in by the afternoon. But there'll be sunshine in between, and we'll notice the breeze just start to pick up, and it becomes a breezy, kind of blustery finish to our Sunday. Now, the tropical alerts have changed. The tropical storm warning extends northward. It really extends all the way up to parts of South Carolina. So now this does include coastal Nassau, coastal Camden, and coastal GLYNN counties, and it also includes the entirety of Duval. So pretty much we just moved the tropical storm warning further north, and then we discontinued any of the hurricane watches or any of the hurricane warnings that were down to the south. So That's one of the just big changes with the forecast there locally is the warnings getting adjusted and then also the timing getting adjusted here. Really, it's just 3 a.m. It's a broad window, but this is for all of us across for 16 counties, right? 3 a.m. to 6 p.m. is the timing. As for the impacts, the worst of them should be for St. John's and Flagler counties, and it's really just the building surf, some of the heavier rain bands work on shore with some of the heavier showers. We got wind gusts upwards of 50, maybe gusts to 60 out along the coast. And just keep a lookout for a surge of about 2 to 4 feet, primarily for those in St. John's and Flagler counties, with the low-lying areas, some of those vulnerable spots that don't do so well, and then in the estuaries as well, kind of those areas that are just really downstream of the intracoastal and downstream of like the St. John's River. You're just going to see the water levels start to rise a little bit come Monday morning and into Monday. So again, Monday's our main impact day, and the rest of our Sunday, I mean, it really shapes up and it's pretty good of a day. I mean, there's going to be plenty of sun for those away from the coast, for those out towards our interior locations, I-75, Lake City, up towards Waycross. Going to be a nice day today. So for the rest of the morning, pretty good. We'll see a couple clouds start to increase, and then as the day progresses, some of the showers start to work on shore as well. So this is about 5 o'clock on your radar. There are a couple downpours that are on shore. Nothing too crazy, nothing we can't handle, nothing that is unlike what we see in the summer. I mean, last week we saw some thunderstorms that produced flooding in neighborhoods that are going to be worse than what we'll deal with on Monday from Isaias in some spots. So a little food for thought there. Now watch what happens when we progress into Monday. Futurecast doing a pretty good job of portraying some of those rain bands coming on shore, right? It just turns blustery with that onshore breeze, right? It gets going and it's just going to pump in some of those showers. They'll be heavier out along the coast, and then the wind just gets going, right? So out along the coastline, man, it's going to be pumping. 40 to 50 mile an hour winds, and then maybe some gusts to 60. So just something to keep in mind. But you hop, skip, and a jump away from the coastline, and it's a nice day on Monday. Lake City up towards Waycross and our inland locations, it's not all that bad of a day on Monday. And part of the reason, I mean, this is so fickle and going to be drastically different weather from the coastline to our interior locations is just because of how close the center of the storm is going to be to the coast, right? It's going to be about 45 right now. Forecast track right here, the exact forecast track right now is about 45 to 50 miles offshore, right? That's kind of where the eye wall would be. So that would put the worst of any of this weather along the coast. Now, if we see this start to drift closer to the west, of course, those weather impacts, those attributes will go with it further to the west. So then there would be changes for those further away from the coast. But as of now, with the forecast track about 45 to 50 miles offshore, the worst of the weather is going to be confined to those right along the coastline. So let's just stick it with our county by county. We're pretty pumped about this. We did this last year with Dorian, and it just really helps break down what we can expect on Monday. So the primary impact's going to be Monday 3 a.m. to noon for St. John's and Flagler County. And you'll just notice really the change in the timing here, county to county. So you know where you live in your counties. We're going to take a tour around the First Coast real quick, and these are the impacts that you can expect. So for those wondering or asking, look, Jessica said, what about St. Augustine? Here you go. There's your forecast for St. Augustine. All right. Nick, you should get on the plane today. Yes, get on the plane today. All right. Any other? I'm just seeing if anyone. Right. Yeah, Doris is asking how much rain for St. Augustine. Here's your question. Brenda Cook sending some great photos in from Fernandina Beach. Brenda, hang tight. We're going to cruise through, and you'll see that forecast for Nassau County and Fernandina Beach as well. Same with Darlene. All right. So let's get to it. So main impacts, really the worst of them, I think, are going to be for St. John's and Flagler County. Rainfall up to 4 inches with some of those heavier bands. Food for thought, we see sometimes more rainfall in a summertime thunderstorm than that. So something to keep in mind. Of course, that's way less than any other tropical cyclone we've seen in the past few years. That's way less than Dorian, way less than Irma, way less than Matthew. So for a little perspective there. Gusts 65, so maybe a little dicier along the coastlines in St. John's and Flagler. For Duval County, the worst of the weather will be out towards the coast of Duval County. It will be just slightly better out on the west side, like downtown to the west side, just slightly better. But for general Duval purposes, winds 30 to 50, gusts to 60. The heavier rainfall amounts will be out along the coast, okay? Because worse, the impacts are closer to the coast. And then the surge will be about 2 feet or so, and that's for those estuary, the spots that are kind of like downstream of the St. Johns River, right? You'll see the water just start to come up a little bit. Nothing crazy with surge expecting in Duval. So may help you put your mind at ease there. Okay, how about Nassau, Camden, and Glynn County? So some folks watching from Fernandina, here you go. The reason our surge for these areas is 2+ feet is just because of the way the geography faces, right? The coastlines of Camden and Glynn County kind of face south and east, right? The swell from the system, the motion from the system is coming from the south and the east, right? So kind of just because of the geography, the way it's facing, it kind of just lines up a little bit more so with the approaching swell, the swell filling in the approaching surge. So that's why we got just about at least a 2 feet or so for some of the Golden Isles and for folks in Camden and Glynn County. Fernandina Beach, look for wind gusts upwards of about 60 miles an hour. Same with those along the coastlines of southeastern Georgia. All right. Again, this isn't anything we can't handle, right? This is not nothing we can't handle, but we just wanted to break it down county by county so you know what to expect, because the weather is going to be different from, these regions. They cover a broad area, right? Our viewing area is 16 counties, right? We cover a broad area. Now, for Clay and Putnam, there is a tropical storm warning in effect, but it's really just for those kind of like right along the St. Johns River in Clay and Putnam County. And the tropical storm warning really just, it's really taking into account the wind on it, and tropical storm force winds are 39+ miles an hour. So because of the wind being a little bit higher in these locations, that's why the warning really is being issued there. Look for a minor surge of the 1 to 2 feet and maybe some minor flooding in those low-lying areas along the St. Johns River, those estuaries that kind of come out of it down in Putnam County and parts of southern Clay County as well. So some minor flooding there along the docks, just something to keep in mind with the wind gusts upwards about 50 or so. Okay, and if you've noticed the timing, it's really just been, each time we've been going around, it's been just fluctuating from a few hours here or there, pretty much into Monday morning into Monday lunchtime, right? So our primary impacts are on Monday. Melissa's just about Clay, same with Afton. I mean, here's the answer for your question there on Clay. Again, nothing you can't handle, nothing that's completely out the wazoo or anything like that, right? But we just want to keep you guys posted. If you can you ask any more of these questions about county to county, that sort of stuff, all this is on our website too. I've literally just been, every time we update them, Prangley and I are working this morning, every time we update them, I just dump them over to the website. I was sitting here and it was like, for like the past 15 minutes, it was just like keep refreshing all of them, right? To get all these images on the website. They're all on our website. Just go to firstcoastnews.com/weather. Go to the forecast blog, basically. First Coast Forecast is the article of it. That's more local. If you want to know more about what's going on with the system and the tropical system, what's going on kind of further south in Florida, then we have the tropical article as well. But if you want to keep it local, stick it local, firstcoastnews.com/weather, and then all of these county by county graphics and impacts are in there, right? And you can just cruise through them, and they'll be updated as the day progresses, and we'll continue to fine tune it. Now, as I mentioned earlier, for those away from the coastline, for those away from the beach, I mean, today, pretty nice day with a passing shower, and then same with Monday. It's actually going to be pretty nice because on Monday, you're not going to be in the 90s, it's going to be in the 80s. You're going to have a fresh breeze, or at least it'll feel like a fresh breeze. It'll be blustery, you'll have gusts to 30, but just a few passing showers and some passing clouds. You get some sun in between, and then you could sit back in the house or on the front porch and be like, man, there's a tropical cyclone 100 miles in that direction. I'm enjoying maybe a nice frothy beverage and some sunshine. So that's why we're breaking it down county by county, right? So we think the interior location is not all that bad of a finish to the weekend and on Monday. Just for my sake and the rest of the weather team's sake, just stay locked into the forecast and just see what's going on, if there's any changes or anything like that you should be aware of, right? So just kind of stay locked in through Monday, but feeling better about those inland locations. Here's a really good portrayal of that, right? So we're going to look at the wind field, the span of how far tropical storm force winds go out, how far damaging winds, like severe winds, go out, and then how far hurricane force winds go out, right? So here's your key. The yellow is the yellow here. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay. There we go. That's better. The yellow here is tropical storm force winds, and then severe winds are like what we've seen as severe thunderstorm is orange, and then the reds are hurricane force winds. We're going to focus on the yellow here because that's how far out tropical storm force winds, 39 plus mile an hour winds, extend, right? So this is this morning right now. Let's progress to the afternoon. I actually want to backtrack this. Let's backtrack this. I forgot to add a pause point. I want to add a pause point. Bear with me here. Yeah, there we go. I want to add a pause point right there. And then I want to add a pause point right there. There we go. Technical difficulties. Love to see it. Okay, so here's your tropical storm force, the extension of the wind field, right? Notice up through the central Florida's coastline, the east coast of central Florida, up to about Daytona, those tropical storm force winds are onshore, right? So that's why those tropical storm warnings are in place. But the storm is slowly going to, if it goes exactly as forecast right now, and goes to about that 45, 50 miles offshore, notice how the tropical storm force winds are grazing our coastal areas, right? Right along the coast. Okay, so that's why we have those warnings issued right along the coast, and that's also why if you just hop, skip, and a jump over here to our inland locations, you're outside of that envelope of the tropical storm force winds. You're outside of the envelope of some of those stronger winds, right? So that's why we're feeling a little bit more confident about the forecast locally, right, that I just showed you county by county. And again, if you want any more of that info, it's all on our website, firstcoastnews.com/weather, county by county. There's a gallery in there. You could just swipe through, find your county, find your spot, and you'll have your forecast for you. Now, the one thing I'm curious about, the one thing I don't want to say concerned about or worried about, but the one thing I'm interested in about because of, well, I love science and the meteorology is fascinating and forecasting tropical meteorology is interesting, right? So the one thing I'm curious about is to see if there will be any sort of further strengthening when the system pulls a little bit further away from the coast and then has this like little pocket, right? It has this little window here where it travels just right over the Gulf Stream, right? Between, you know, our coastline and South Carolina's coastline. Water temperatures are low to mid 80s, okay? So if it kind of scoots a little bit further off the coast as forecast, stays there for a little bit, right? Doesn't have enough room to strengthen, right? We've seen that in the past. We saw that with Hannah in Texas, how it was approaching the coastline, and if it had, it was barely a tropical depression, and then like a day and a half, and then like a day later it was a hurricane, So this is going to be interesting. The one thing that I think would prohibit this from happening is by once the system kind of makes the bend up and away from our coast, it takes off and it gets picked up by the jet stream and it starts flying and it's going. So I mean, it's going to cover like a broad spectrum of area in a shorter amount of time. Because right now it's disconnected from the jet stream. Once it makes that turn, it picks up by the jet stream, and that thing just goes flying. So where does it go next? I mean, it's right now. You got a potential landfall in South Carolina to the Outer Banks. Hell, you even have a potential landfall in parts of southern Florida right now. Right? We're keeping an eye on that. With wiggle room there with error. But if you're wondering beyond Monday, where does this thing go? It's going to be it could be a big time rainmaker if it takes more of a center path here. If it takes more of a center path, kind of up into North Carolina, maybe a big rainmaker. If it stays a little bit further inland and gets picked up by the jet stream, it could be a severe weather maker. Okay, with stronger thunderstorms and the potential for severe thunderstorms, potential for tornado warnings, that sort of deal. If it takes the far easterly track, I mean, that steers clear of populous areas in North and South Carolina and may, cause a ruckus for the Outer Banks. But that would keep things a little bit further away from the coast. So that's kind of, I think, the three options are where are we going next with this thing, if you're curious. And this is going to happen quick because, as I mentioned, once this thing turns and gets picked up by a jet stream, man, it takes off and it goes flying. It'll be water in the tomatoes. Nina, tell Grandma it'll be water in her tomatoes. Those are actually Nick's tomatoes. He planted them. But the Jersey tomatoes will get a fresh batch of some water by the time Wednesday rolls around. When that thing gets up to the north and east, it'll be a rainmaker for those in the north and in the east. All right, folks, here's your 7-day. Looking pretty good. Again, we'll be in the 80s on Monday with the breeze. And then, I mean, we get back to sunshine and low 90s on Tuesday and Wednesday. That's really it. And then some thunderstorms return later on the week. So, Monday's our day. We'll look for a couple thunderstorms later on this afternoon. And look for a couple thunderstorms later on this afternoon with some sun in between. And then we'll see conditions start to deteriorate Monday morning into Monday. That's our impact day. Rest of the 7-day doesn't look all that bad. See if there's any further questions on here. Caroline saying she's gonna. Hey Caroline, I'll be doing these in the future. Don't worry. This is not the last Sunday live stream. I'll be doing these in the future. Don't you worry. Let's see. If we answered questions about Clay. Dee asked for Duval. We answered that. Jean is asking about Palatka. You live inland in Palatka. You are under a tropical storm warning, so there will be some slight surge there with some minor flooding in low-lying areas along the river in Palatka, Jean. But just look for really a windy day on Monday with some heavier showers on and off. All right, go take a look. On our website. There's those county-by-county graphics, but shouldn't be that bad in Putnam County. But it's going to be a blustery day with those showers coming on and off. And then just keep a lookout for those low-lying areas with minor flooding. May be an issue there. Let's see. Brenda was asking. Brenda said, how are we keeping you after I leave? Just follow my Facebook page. That's all you got to do. Follow this Facebook page. This is my personal and professional Facebook page. So follow along for the adventures. We'll have some fun stuff. We'll keep the Sinatra Sundays going as best I can. And yeah, Angela, to answer your question, yes, right there on Facebook. That's it. All right, folks. Stay safe. Stay locked into the forecast. Any changes that come up, we'll keep you posted. Follow along. Prangley, Mike, Tim, myself, we'll keep you guys posted. And other than that, I mean, stay safe. It's been a time. It's been a great time. And we'll see you on the flip side. Thank you guys for everything. It's been a great time. Enjoy the coffee this morning, and we'll chat soon.